I do with my headphones. Okay, is this them? Or that's them.
Oh, yeah, that's
Well, I have two sets that are the same.
That's a red one.
That is such a trip. Community inheritance. See, that's one good thing about intelligence artificial is because it can set data points together. So as a result, we just got an update
What, to let 'em know?
for ancestry,
Ancestry.
and so there's new features within. I don't want to take a survey. It's how they get you. I'm not paying for the membership though. I want to see. They send you emails, and then they entice you, and then that you go in, and then it's like, okay, here's a little. Oh, here it is. This is what I wanted. I found what I was looking for. I took a picture of this screenshot anyway. So, all right, let me start some music, and then I'll start this talk because I don't want to talk a long time because I already talked today, this morning, and I just finally started freaking chilling out. Like like a half hour ago, I drank 1 cup of coffee this morning, and I know it's the Uranian energy. It's not just like a typical, like caffeine does affect me.
Okay.
It really does, but this was like I felt like I was connected to freaking a generator all day. Like I was powering it. I mean, it was. I did not like it. It's in a lot of people. They like clinical people, stuff like that. I would equate. That's what their terminology they put on like mania when people get manic. It's just energy induced to their system, their energy field. They're picking up on more than the non-sensitives. And who wants to be, I mean, I get like desensitizing, but who wants to not feel anything ever? I mean, and people do. I call them psychopaths, narcissists, and sociopaths. People that don't feel anything, that just like can watch people suffer, and like it doesn't affect them in a bad way. As a matter of fact, there's like twisted weirdos out there, like getting all kind of turns them on a little bit when people suffer. There's that whole frequency, but I don't want to talk about that right now. What I want to talk about is how mom has taught me ever since I was a little girl to have faith and to do the right thing and to don't lie and cheat and steal.
That's
right. Right? That's like, and we've been around, we've been to a lot of churches, been to a lot of places looking for peace and spirituality and something to guide us to do the right thing, people to show us and teach us how to discern, for who is for us and who is not. Because discernment is what I think spiritual practitioners need to be teaching, is how to teach people how to listen to themselves, keep them out of harm's way, because not everybody out there is for you. And we moved around a lot. I've been looking for roots my whole life, right? Mom was adopted, never knew where she came from. And then God unfolds a story and said, "You know what, Marge? You believed and been faithful for so long. I'm gonna create a story through your life, through your mother's life." And this is what he did. And it's miraculous. It is really quite bizarre. And this story really began back in 2020 when my landlord came and said, "You got to move." And so she said, "You got 45 days. I want you out by the 1st of October." And it's like 2020, Oregon's on fire. California was burning. Their housing crisis is we have very limited income. My credit took a hit when I became a stay-at-home daughter, like just stuff. I got a car repoed. Like, I mean, just like, and he just said, stay sober and do the next right thing. One day at a time. And I struggled because I was sober for 14 years and I went out drinking when I moved out, when I blew up my life, when I moved to Oregon. And luckily, fortunately enough, that I didn't get so far disconnected from spirit that I couldn't have another spiritual awakening. And so I did, and I came to my senses and I stopped doing that and just took care of mom and just tried to do the next right thing. And it was very difficult because it was also the time of my ego death, a very large ego death, because at one point I had that attitude of these freaking machismos. I acted like that, and I had, with my experience and where I've been and blah blah blah, and I became unemployable is what happened. I couldn't get a job anyway. I ran through my my savings, and then it was like, oh shit, this is coming and then I started seeing like what God wanted me to see. And so, and I was like, well, this ain't going to be a lot of fun for me. And he said, it doesn't matter, God, you don't pay attention to all those people having fun. Your incarnation is not about fun. Your spirit is here to learn. Damn it. So, all right. He said, either you're going to be faithful or just go the way of your ego. And you're going to ease me out. Easing God out, ego. Easing God out, living from your ego. I'm just going to do what I want. That is not good orderly direction. So, when she came and said, we got to move, I was like, I put it out everywhere. I put it on social media. I was putting it on Facebook. I was in YouTube chats. I said, I need a place to live for me and my mom. I was in Craigslist. I was calling like state organizations. I was calling, and we lived in Oregon, and my brother was like, I could help you out easy, no problem. But, you'd have to move to Oregon. And I said, well, can you help me move mom to Oregon? Because I can't do it by myself. And he said, I'm going to help you by not helping you. Yeah, he's one of those. Yeah. He said when we were in high school, we made a deal after mom had her stroke that, or when we were younger, that you would take care of mom in her elder years when she needed care and support. Mom's needed care and support for a while, and I'll take care of dad. My dad has the attitude and mentality is that nobody's going to take care of me. He's the machismo. That's where I get it from. So my brother got off easy, and it's been extremely difficult. A promise is a promise, and I promised mom when I was 15 I'd never put her in a home, and you take care of family, right? That's always what I was taught. But see, I was the bastard child. This is just all shit I found out within the last few years. Like when I was in AA, and I have talks on CD and cassette and stuff when I'd share my experience, strength, and hope, because that's what they told me. I was told stories, and I believe people, so I pass these stories on as truth, and then I find out it's bullshit, and then I'm like, well, I'm not a liar. Am I? No, I was just misled. So I correct the story that I was told, and I was told that my parents went to court in 1972 after my brother was born to get a divorce, and they said, because I was always real important to me, I'm a hopeful romantic ever since I was born. I just love is oh so important, and so I wanted to do. Did I come from a place of love? Did my parents love each other? I mean, was it like, it was always significant to me. And they said that, well, when they went to that they went to court, and the judge would not grant the divorce. Like this is what I was always told. He would not, that he could tell that they could, go try and reconcile. And then they did, and then I was the parting gift. Well, come to find out, when you get ancestry, sometimes when you join the membership part of it, you get documents that come with it. And my brother paid for her to get the membership part when I lived in Oregon. so we could have more access, because I was investigating. And then I got delivered, here's a new record update. And my mom and dad, in fact, got divorced in 1972, and I'm 74. But they never, I still don't know this story. I'm only 50 years old, and I have no idea. Like, if mom was, like, I don't know if I came from a place of love or, anger or rage, or, nobody ever tell. And neither of them are gonna tell. I mean, I probably won't know. God lets me know what I'm supposed to know, and trust and believe that I do trust and believe, based on this story that I'm gonna keep telling here, because it's just freaking wild, right? And so, like, I didn't react. Like, I had an emotional response. Like, I was lied to my whole, I'm a part of that club. And but it started revealing things to me. I'm like, that's why they always treated me like I was the mistake. Like, I was the hassle. Like, God, if we just wouldn't have done it that last time, I wouldn't have, because people were always, I'm the kid that they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'd wonder. And then I started paying attention. Marge, there's lots of stuff right about you. Don't you listen to them. And I didn't. And I just appease people. And I play the game. And now today on the tiki-talkie, they call that masking. And I don't fucking care. It's just go along to get along. Okay, I'll play the role, because if I say what I really want to say right now, it's probably going to end up with me in handcuffs. Because people just... it's like they abuse power, and if they don't like what you say, they will throw you in some place where they don't have to hear you. And I've been thrown away my whole life. And it started with my mother, because she was adopted, so she was thrown away. And then when I was 18, she took my money and changed the locks. I got over it, but I'm just saying that these are things that people can get past. And we're not the same people that we were. And you can't hang on to freaking anger and resentment, man. It causes cancer. It really, really earnestly does. I don't want freaking cancer in my butt. I don't want freaking, no, because just negative cells turn negative, just nasty. Anyway, so Taos County, New Mexico. So I'm freaking out. Like, she wanted us out at the beginning in October. I'm like, I can't do, I said, I'm going to be out as quick as I can. And she was like, okay, what else is she going to do? I mean, I don't have a place to go, I mean, you can't, I guess people have no problem putting freaking elderly people, I mean, most people that are on the streets are nacho neurotypical like me. So, I mean, people don't care. They just want to get paid. These days, it's going to change, because hearts are going to break, and that's what changes hearts, when they break. So or they'll just get more and more stoic. Or it'll just get worse. It'll get better or worse. I just gotta worry about what I'm going to contribute, which way. So I started putting out in YouTube. Oh, I get an email from a woman, because I was putting out on Kijin and making videos like I need, and Kijin, and that I needed a place to live, and this woman was in Kijin's chat and sent me an email. Yeah, Kijin. Yeah. So this woman sends me an email and says, I live with my daughter. We dog sit. She was a dog groomer, blew out her elbows. She said, we got this place in Arizona. We got room for you and your mom. Come on. And I was like, fucking shit, And I was like, thank God. And so, get the truck loaded. And the truck started acting funny right before we got to leave. And because I'm getting it looked at by the mechanic to make sure it's road ready, because I got to drive from Salem, Oregon to Phoenix, or not Phoenix, Flagstaff, Arizona.
Oh, that's a distance.
Yeah. And I had the 4 dogs and Stan Lee, and then Jerry had come up and like stood around for an hour, my brother. Like, didn't hardly do shit to pick up Mom to drive her back to Sacramento. And then she stayed the weekend in Sacramento while I drove overnight pretty much straight. I dozed off for an hour because my adrenaline had been going so much. I basically just had to degauze. So outside of Klamath Falls, I pulled over for a little while. Because I got pulled over, so he made me go to Walmart. He escorted me all the way back to Walmart.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of cool. So, that was like the only positive experience I've ever had. Well, that was the first. I've had one here, a state patrol. I got a warning. So that, but I didn't give him no guff or nothing like that. But anyway, so the computer was dying in the truck because that's what I found out. Because as soon as it got us there, I bought it, had it 2 years, loved that truck. It was a '96 Dodge Ram 1500. I took every one of the dogs to the beach. We all got to go to the beach, and it served its purpose, because like inanimate objects serve their purpose just like pets do, people do. They come for a season, whatnot, right? Come here, Benno. Good boy, baby. He's a Marge. You are time for a Benny, Marge. Good boy, bud. Good dog. And so, the truck dies. I call AAA, gets towed to a shop when I get there, and then I never saw it again. Because what happened was we were there, and very soon, I'm talking like 5 days after I got there, the honeymoon phase was over, and I'm like, dude, this lady I figured out real quick what she wanted us to be her pet project. Like, she was. And she was twisted, like mean. And she was tiny little bit. But that's where I got to learn that emotional control, where I can just let people go. But I also pretty much kind of shriveled up. You can tell, like, you see the whole history of my videos. I was doing the videos the whole time. You could see I was suffering. You could see I was in a great deal of spiritual pain, because it's just like I was talking about it today with the earth angel that came through for me, because I was having a conversation with Mr. Iski. He's the dad that I picked for myself, because yeah. And so I remember I was like, dude, I don't, like, the truck's dead. I have $2,000. I'm in Flagstaff. I've reached out to the VA homeless. They're worthless. The VA system is worthless. In every state, unless you work in the town where the VA is. But if you work any place outside of that, it's total misappropriation of funds. It's waste. It's fraud, waste, and it's just another cell suck. It's another resource suck. So the people that say, we care, get paid, but the people that they're supposed to care for get shit on every fucking day so they can get direct deposit. That's weird to me. Anyway, so I was talking to Mr. Iski, and I was like, Mr. Iski, I said, I don't know what to, I'm at the place that, thank God, there's not a literal crossroads, because I am suffering so much, and I don't know what to do but just try not to freak out and hang on to faith that God's gonna get us through this, because he hasn't carried us all this way just to drop us in Flagstaff, Arizona, like Cappy, Isaac Cappy, and so I said, he's heard every bad thought I've ever said. I've said every crazy thought out loud to another human being for accountability. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, I said, where are the demons? Where are the devils? Because I would sell my soul, like, I can't, like, I don't, like, get me out of it. Like, I don't know, because I keep praying, and this lady keeps getting more wicked, and it's getting harder for me to keep my mouth closed, and her daughter's a dumb bitch, and it's just like, wow, how, like, and so I get into chats again, and I forgot to mention this, but when before we left Oregon, in another YouTube video, Marge Astrology, her channel doesn't exist anymore either. Keegan is back. Marge took her. Then anyway, this woman, Cynthia, saw my plead saying, I'm in, I need a place to live. I was putting it everywhere. Like, I was messaging people that I went to high school with, like, because either someone's going to help me or everybody's going to tell me no. And everyone was just ignoring me. Nobody was willing to help me, but these strangers were, right? Right? So I was like, okay, I'm getting bird crumbs, so this is the path in which I'm intended to go. And so this woman, Cynthia, said, I know somebody who has renting a trailer in Taos, New Mexico. And I looked that up, and I was like, fucking what? Like, this is when we still were in Oregon. So that was 27. So 27 plus 7. So that's 32 hours. I said, dude, I can't do that. Like, when we got to Arizona, I had to drive back to Barstow to get Mom to drive her back to Flagstaff the day after I drove 27 hours from Salem. I mean, it's just, so when I see what people can't do, I'm just like, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. If only I could just be a fucking NPC, So, freaking, that was just like, it was hot. It was just, okay, winging a prayer the whole time. Just completely stepping out into faith. Like, And so I was telling I got Mr. Risky, I said, I don't know what to do. I said, I'll keep praying for you, thoughts and prayers. And I was just like, oh, fucking God, that doesn't do me any good. It really doesn't, it really, the thoughts and prayers. So, but when we got to Flagstaff, I started putting it out there again. Like, I need a place, and Marge Astrology, the woman again, said, I know somebody in Taos. And I put my email address in the chat. And then she emailed me. And then she put me in contact with the woman. And I was like, okay, but, how am I going to get... Because this woman was like, get your shit and get out. Like, she was getting freaking... Because she was a fucking angry divorcee, and she thought that I was going to be sucking a solution to her, all the problems in her life, and then determined that I wasn't. And then so I became the object of her anger. Carry gun in Flagstaff. I don't even know if she's still there. But we had weird karmic stuff because our lives were congruent. Like, I was in Flagstaff not Flagstaff, but I was in Fairbanks, Alaska when she moved up there. I was there, like, at the same time. There's, like, weird shit like that. And she's a Cancer, and I'm Cancer rising. So I learned a lot. I understand why we went through it. I'm just saying it didn't make it less hellish and less uncomfortable. Like, it took fucking months for the adrenal glands to come out of the top of my fucking kid. And I just, like, I had to carry the dogs across the linoleum when I let them out for their last potty and carry them back. I mean, it was just like, but I can't outdo it. I can do whatever bullshit people throw at me. That's why I can tell them, oh, you're being a control freak. Because you're just making me do stupid shit you want me to. Because you feel powerless. I'll do your dance. And then I'll get out of here. And then I'll leave karma to deal with you. So, 2 days after I had that conversation with, like, I was just like, dude, like, I'll you know what, like, God, you know, I'm out in the field. It's pitch black. In nowhere freaking Flagstaff, Arizona. I know there's elk around me. I can, like, feel the presence of large animals. It's so dark I can't see them. It's bizarre. And so, and it's the first time I ever lived in high elevation either. It was the whole experience. It was just so real. That's why I think maybe that the energies right now are uncomfortable, because the energies feel like that, right? And so 2 days after, I was like, dude, you know, like, dude, if God ain't gonna help me, then I get why people freaking sell their soul. Like, they take whatever help comes, you know what I mean? And then a dear sweet woman that I had befriended when I lived in Oregon, I came across her recommended. And she watched my videos, and she kept saying, I watch your videos and I just, yes. And she was like, you think like me. And she, at the time, she was 72, 71, 72. And she just lost her dear sweet husband of 42 years. And it was so hard on her. It was a traumatic event of herself. So trauma is it's not foreign to her. And so she was watching my story, you know, and she sent Mom flowers and stuff like that. I was less than gracious in the beginning. We're friends now. We talk pretty regular, but I was, you know, I was under stressors, a great deal of stressors, with very little outlets. And so, and no positive reinforcement at all. Except for, Marge, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. Good orderly direction. Stay sober, do the next right thing. Don't drink, do the next right thing. Okay. And so, I get a call from this dear sweet woman. I hope she doesn't mind that I share this part. And she said, I've been watching your videos, and I can just see how much pain you're in. And I want to help you.
Oh, that's nice.
And she said, I'm going to send you a check. I'm going to send it, you know, it'll be FedEx, which was risky where we were. I mean, it was just like, hey, you know, but it's like everything else my whole entire life. If it's supposed to be, it's going to be. There's going to be a way, if that is the will of the good, or if that's like what's best for everybody, right? Path of least resistance isn't always best for everybody. Path only resistance sometimes. And that's all the options I was getting. So this dear sweet woman that has been watching my YouTube videos sent me and Mom a check for $15,000. This was back in 2020. We had to move. And so I was just like, I can never not believe. I mean, I can never question. I had a hard time, and God never left my proximity. I turned my back on God. I turned on my back on good orderly direction. I turned my back on doing the right thing. Because everyone in the world is giving me permission to ditch my promise. Everybody I know told me to put Mom in a home, except for Mr. Iskey. He's the only person I know that both of his parents passed in their 120-year-old farm that they lived in their whole lives, you know. Or, you know, he did, Mr. Iskey's dad. But, I mean, and he quit, he had to take a leave of absence, and, you know, and you take care of family, right? That's what I was always told, but I never got that same benefit. It's been such a weird, trippy, wild ride. So now the lady, I was more than happy to quickly tell her that, checks in the mail, we're getting out of here. And now she's like, get out. And so she literally dropped me off. Once the check came, I had to, my bank was in Oregon, so I had to, it was such a fucking ordeal. Everything was just divine timing. Obstacles to wait. Okay, go. Okay, wait. It's just how life is, and I recognize it that way. I was just more of a, okay, whatever. And so she dropped me downtown in freaking Flagstaff, Arizona at a freaking, Flagstaff is the fucking middle of nowhere. At a car dealership, and I walk in and I say, I need a minivan. And so that's what we did, because I just signed the title over. I got screwed over by the truck, but the truck served its purpose. You know what I mean? Like, she'll probably will never work for nobody. I mean, we got a special thing, me and old girl truck. Yeah, but I don't know. I hope she went to a good, but because that mechanic was a scumbag, he should have gave me at least $1,000, for freaking parts, shit like that. It was just the computer, the bad engine was good. He could have, and he got me. He knew I was in a bind and he took advantage, and he'll get his karma for that. I don't gotta worry about it. I mean, when I met the guy, I was like, God, he's got to live with himself every day. I mean, nothing I do or think or say is gonna freaking add to his freaking turmoil that he has in his own life. Anyway, so I spent $3,500. I wrote a check for a minivan for $3,500, and then the next day I packed the van with the TV, some amenities, our important papers, because the lady wouldn't even let us stay there long enough to wait for the moving truck so I could be there. And she took stuff from me. Gun, GUNN. Like, she freaking took shit. I mean, and she'll get her karma for that too. Carry gun. Yeah. Let it go, Marge. Bless and release. Bless and release. People don't think I have restraint. I'm like, dude, they would be in awe of my restraint if they could recognize what restraint is, but people can't even fucking keep the spoon out of their mouth. So what do they know about restraint? They shovel it in. It feels good. It tastes good. It must do good. Oh, they're muscles. No, it's flab. Anyway, so now we set off to Taos, New Mexico in the minivan, and we get out here, and it's like snow's coming. So we got to leave by 10 to beat the snowstorm that's supposed to be hitting over the hills in Taos. And so I'm just like, okay, it's a 7-hour drive. Let's do this. Loaded up all the cat, the dogs, 5 dogs, mom. Okay, Mom, you ready? Okay. All right, let's do this. All right. And so, and then we get to the place. The lady shows up. I had to run. I said, can you hang out and wait with Mom? Hang out, or, I got to run to Walmart because we didn't have nothing to sleep on. So I had to go get air mattresses and a pump so we had something to sleep. Because our shit wasn't coming for days after us. And so that worked out. And the lady was just so grateful. And the landlord, this is God and blah, 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 And yeah, that shifted later too, but that's for another story, because I'm getting to where I'm going too long, and I want to wrap up this story, get to the good part. So we got here, and I wanted, another little backstory about Oregon is I had a dream where I stepped out onto the porch from where we lived, and we live right next to a little stream. Like, it was it was a beautiful spot. And the water was rising, And I knew that it wasn't water from the stream. I knew it was water in Salem, Oregon rising,
Wow.
and it was seawater.
Oh, seawater.
And I said, we got to go. And so then that's when I started saving every dime we had, because I knew that we were going to have to go. I just didn't know like when the land, what the thing that was going to get us to go. But I had been proactively looking the whole time. I just was not able to find anything. And then we had time crunches and I was like, blah. And so, my goal was to be where God wanted us to be by the eclipse that happened in 2020 in December. And it happened it was like around 11/11. I can't remember the exact date. I'd have to look. Or there was some lunar eclipse or so. There's some cosmic event, and I was like, that's where we got to be in place to where we're supposed to be by then, right? So we have a place to, and because I've been trying to plan a place to have a garden, and all this stuff for years. Just trying to get my will in line with God's. Ain't always easy to do. And so, but being disciplined and, not doing too much of all the things that I want to do and just listening to my internal compass, my mind, body, and spirit, try and keep them congruent and clear of intoxicants. So, anyway, to wrap this story up, we just got a new notification. That's why this preempted this whole video, is because I just got an update from an email from Ancestry. So I went to go check it out. And this is stuff that we knew because when we lived in Oregon, that's where Mom had her DNA test done. And people emailed me, or emailed Mom, I was taking care of her account, but because they were her first cousins. But they were like, I'm trying to do life here. And they were talking about life states away. And so I wasn't willing to put the energy to even looking, giving it anything. I just put it on the back burner. And then once we got here, I went back into the Ancestry account and started messaging with this woman that's a first cousin of Mom's, and she's up in Colorado. And then I get this email today. Where is it? It's in my pictures. Today at 7:04, I know it's not going to focus. It has this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read what it says. It gives you a breakdown of your lineage, and this is back from, I don't know, 1500s, I guess. But this is what it says. Mom's tied to 145,170 ancestors members. It says this is me. But it says, this is what it says for me, but you're on here. So I'm tied. It says, I'm tied to 145,170 ancestors. It says, you and all the members of this community are linked through shared ancestors that shared pain, that shared sorrow, that shared joy, that we never got to share in, Ma. Because it's always been just you and me. And then God puts us on this crazy freaking ride. We end up in frickin' Taos, New Mexico. And then I get an email that it says, the more specific, you probably have family who lived in this area and maybe still do. And right there it says Santa Fe, New Mexico to Pueblo, Colorado, and surrounding areas. We ended up where Mom began because the people, her parents, I don't know who her parents yet. Since we've been here, we found out they're probably in this book. This is the town we live. Mom was probably born within Cuesta is what we're narrowing it down to. It's getting closer. Everywhere I go in the community, my mom was born in 1950 with 2 club feet. And her family put her in an orphanage down in El Paso. Because that's what the government does. It makes it hard for people to live, gives you a solution that tears the family apart. And I am here, I am back to let people know you better fucking figure out your families. Because I know the Pueblo, I've driven around, I got homies, I've been all around the community, and Taos County, you ain't taking care of pets, and you ain't taking care of elders, and you ain't taking care of kids, but you're taking care of yourselves. So, that is my testimony. If you're here to hear it, thank you for listening. If you hear it in the future, thank you for your time, because that's all we got is time to give to people. And now I see while I'm here and I got work to do and I got to get busy. Can't make this stuff up, man. It's freaking crazy. Hi, Bex. I know see, I get an idea. I'm curious about more about your chart, because I feel like you get stimulated at the same times I get. But then sometimes I've listened to her, because I can't talk that long. My voice gets tired. But I talk all day with you. And the dogs. The dogs are talking. I mean, there's always talking. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, Bex. I'll come back through your channel and stuff. I want to talk with more people. I want to do what people do on YouTube. People just don't want to do what they do on YouTube with me. It's like everybody knows stuff about me that I don't know. Am I gonna fucking crack and just is everybody else from the future and they know stuff and I'm just catching up? The way people look at me, I used to think I was butt ugly when I was a little kid, just because when people looked at me, the scowls on their faces. But that's the ugly in them. That ain't the ugly in me. It's about all I